Hello, my name is Pavel and welcome back to my channel. If you know anything about me, then you know I love horror movies. But let me be a little bit more specific in today's video. I love horror movies, or like movies in general, that center around the concept of a game. For example, movies like Saw, Escape Room, even though Escape Room wasn't that good, 13 Sins, Ready or Not, or even like movies that are not horror, such as Game Night. I love movies that center around the concept of a game. But why do I like them? Well, the idea of a game creates like this sense of competition, and it just makes a movie a little bit more exciting, even if a movie is not great. The fact that there's some sort of game going on just gives it an extra layer of excitement for me, and I love watching them now and then. I feel like finding movies that are centered around a game, that are horror and are like half good, it's quite a difficult task to do. And today I'm going to be watching a movie that centers around the same sort of concept, and the game is Truth or Dare. And well, the movie is called Truth or Dare. I saw a clip of it on Twitter the other day, and it looked awful. Like, it was like this weird ass smile, and I was like, oh boys, I got to make a fucking video on this. I knew I had to make a video on this movie because it looked awful. And if you know me over the last few months, I've been really focusing on my shit horror movies. I've kind of made it like my thing for now, until I get the kind of like sick of it. But anyway, I'm gonna be watching Truth or Dare because it looks funny. It's a movie, it's a horror movie that centers around the concept of a game, and it looks fun. Like, the concept of playing Truth or Dare in a horror movie, and the idea of people dying because somebody chose Dare, and like all this, it just sounds exciting. I really hope it's gonna be good. I'm not really gonna waste a lot of time in this intro. I'm just gonna go watch Truth or Dare and give you my opinions after. So that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go watch Truth or Dare, and I'll see you after. Bye.
Truth or Dare. 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 Truth! Stop!
What secret does your best friend make you hide?
Marky's constantly cheating on Lucas.
Okay, hello. I dare you. Get it? Do you get the joke? I dare you to guess if that was a really exciting and fun movie. Go on, I dare you while I try to fix my hair. Was it exciting? Oh my god, my hair is acting ridiculous. It was not a good movie, believe it or not. Okay, it wasn't that it was bad. The concept was fun. Like, if there's ever a movie that centers around a game, I'm going to enjoy it. A movie like this is something that I will enjoy, but holy fuck, that movie was 100 minutes long, and it felt so long. I am so tired, and I do not understand what is it with these movies that have like somewhat interesting concepts. Why do they feel so long and boring? But you know what? Let me tell you about the movie. The synopsis for this movie reads: a group of friends who are lured into a game of truth and dare realize the ones who lie or do not follow the rules end up dead mysteriously. Ooh, spooky. A lot of mystery. I wonder what happens. I wonder why they die. Let us get into it. I am not going to tell you about every single thing in this. Oh, it's getting like really bright. I'm not going to tell you about everything in this movie, because in my last few reviews I've like broken down the entire story, and you do not need to know that, because this movie, let me just tell you to you the way it is. This movie is a cycle. We have one person, Truth or Dare. Okay, Truth or Dare, they pick Truth or Dare. Next person pick Truth or Dare, and believe it or not, they all die off. But before we get into all of that, what happens in this movie? Well, we meet our first character, Olivia. Well, actually, before that, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before that, we see a girl at a filling station, and she like comes in and she's crying, and she's like, I don't want to do this. And she lights somebody on fire because like this person who comes across as a demon is like, Truth or Dare, and she picks Dare. So she picks Dare, and she is dared to light somebody on fire, and she lights somebody on fire, and then the movie starts. So we're introduced to a group of people, with the main character being Olivia. Okay, so we have Olivia, who's kind of like a charity worker. Then we have Marky, who's her friend, and Marky's boyfriend is called Lucas. That's kind of like everything you need to know so far. Okay, so we see these characters, and Olivia's planning to go and volunteer for the entire summer, but Marky comes in and is like, you're not fucking volunteering all summer. It is our last spring break. We're going to Mexico, and you're coming with us. Long story short, they end up in Mexico, and in Mexico, they are all partying. And there's like this really awful montage, and it looks so bad, does not look like they're having fun at all. But anyway, they are all in Mexico having a great time, and Olivia kind of fancies Lucas, who's Marky's boyfriend, but that's not going to happen because Marky and Lucas are going out. You know, she likes him, but whatever. She meets this guy called Carter. Let me take off my jumper. Holy God. So she meets this guy called Carter, and Carter's like, hey, I'm kind of a nice guy and you're a nice girl. How about we get all of your friends and we bring you to this like weird church house thing in the middle of nowhere? And all of the friends are like, yeah, okay. They are hesitant initially, but then they go anyway, and Carter's like, ooh, how about we play some games? And the game is truth or dare, and it turns out that it starts off innocent. It's like, ooh, who would you kiss here? And what would you do if aliens came? And ooh, can you give this guy a lap dance? Because it's funny when a guy gives another guy a lap dance. Ha, comedy, it's so funny. Anyway, they play some truth or dare. Then it gets a little bit more deep when Marky is asked, do you know that Olivia fancies your boyfriend? And like this friendship, you know, like their friendship is on edge. The guy, Carter, yeah, he stands up and he's basically like, yeah, I kind of brought you all here because we have to play this game. And if you don't play it, you are going to die. And I was made to do this. I was made to bring you here and basically, you know, play truth or dare. And that's exactly what they do. So skip forward a few days. It's school time. You know, like things are just back to normal kind of ish, but Olivia's starting to see truth or dare signs all over the school, everywhere she goes, and it turns out that she's hearing these demonic voices that are being like, truth or dare, Olivia, and she has to pick truth or dare. Then we move on to Marky, the next character, and fuck, I hate when they do this in movies. Marky's dad is dead. How sad. I sound like I'm really like a horrible person. I'm not trying to be a horrible person, but it's just like these fucking like tropes that are so present in this movie. Can we just pack it in? Please, can we just pack it in? I'm so tired of it. It is so fucking annoying. But Marky's dad is dead, and that doesn't come into play. Like, we don't really care about that story for a little while. So then what happens? Well, Olivia is back in the library. Sorry, she's in the library. And in the library, these fucking weird ass faces, the faces that I mentioned to you earlier in the video, they come to Olivia and they're like, truth or dare, and they look fucking horrendous. I do not even know how to describe to you how awful these faces look. The truth or dare faces in this movie are fucking horrific. They look so bad. Who came up with this? What was the idea of having these truth or dare faces? It's a shame because this movie had potential, but whenever I saw the truth or dare faces, I was like, oh my god, how am I meant to take these Snapchat ass filters seriously throughout a 100-minute movie? It is ridiculous. So every time somebody gets asked truth or dare, the person asking it has like this face, and you cannot take it seriously at all. So anyway, this is where the routine starts. This is where it's cyclical, and this is where I'm going to basically stop telling you every single thing that happens in the movie, because every single person keeps hearing truth or dare. And like, it starts off with a guy called Ronnie, who's kind of like funny. He's like kind of like, he's a bit like, you know, like overly horny and really annoying, but he's kind of like a funny character. And somebody asks him to take out his penis or something, and you know, he doesn't complete the dare properly, and it turns out that if you don't complete the dare or the truth or whatever, you die. You basically kill yourself, and that's it. That's in the entire movie. And you know, we have the tropes of, oh, they dig into the history and they see the past, and it comes down to this Spanish nun who released this demonic spirit and all this sort of shit continuously. And it's like, oh, I feel like I've watched too many bad horror movies, and I have seen this way too many times because it's really, really boring. And the thing with this movie is, why the fuck are we centering it around this history and this story? Can we not just play truth or dare and have fun? Like, why do we need all this shit, this like repetitive movie with like no risks and all the comedic tropes that are present in horror movies, such as like, oh, the police are involved. Ooh, I wonder, will the police solve this? Of course they're not going to fucking solve this. You think the police are going to solve like this demonic mystery that's killing people through the game of truth or dare? Nope. Then we have another dare like later on in the movie where Olivia has to have sex with Lucas, and it's like, oh my god, really, like, this is what's gonna make or break your movie? The sex scene? Come on. And it's funny because they're like, oh, we can kind of like end this whole game if you like get somebody's tongue and put it into this like weird pot and cast a spell. And guess what? The ending, and I feel like I've never even said this about a movie, the ending of this movie, like I never really care about endings all that much, but the ending in this movie is fucking horrific. Basically, I feel like they had an ending planned, right? They had an ending planned, then it just didn't work, and they were like, oh fuck it, let's just do something completely different. I'm not going to tell you the ending because I don't want to spoil it, because I feel like you should watch this like with some friends, because it is kind of fun. Like, the movie was fun, but holy shit, the ending of this movie is awful. It is so bad. It's so stupid. It makes no sense. It's like trying to be like clever, or like, oh, you defeated the game, but you didn't. It's just stupid. And you know what's really annoying throughout this movie? Like, so like halfway in, a lot of the people are picking truth. And the reason people would pick truth in real life is obviously they don't want to do a dare. Whenever these characters pick truth, it means we have to care about the repercussions that come from them, like spilling the truth about like their friends and their thoughts they have on their friends. But we obviously, there's way too many characters in this 100-minute movie and we do not care about them. So why the fuck do the characters continuously keep picking truth? Like, we as an audience, we want to see people die. We want to see some crazy shit happening. But this crazy shit's not happening because people keep picking truth, and then like halfway into the movie they meet the character from the start of the movie and she's like, yeah, I was involved in the game with Carter and Carter, blah blah blah, all this sort of shit. And she's like, yeah, there's like this rule where you can't pick 2 truths in a row, and it's like, oh, after then we're going to get some like really risky like dares. But no, the dares are really tame because it's like, oh, hold the gun to your dad's head. And like, yes, when I'm saying it, that kind of sounds like, ooh, that kind of sounds like a bit crazy, but it's not. It's fucking boring. There's no gore or there's nothing. It feels like this movie holds back, and I hate that. It annoys me so much. Stop fucking holding back. You have such a cool concept. You can make such a cool fucking movie, such an entertaining movie where you go over the top. We have a crazy time. This movie could be so fun. It could be not. This movie could give no fucks, but that's not what happens. This movie gives too many fucks. It tries to make a solid story, and this movie just comes out very mid. Like, the ratings for this movie are, we could have 5.2 on IMDb, which is quite high. Like, I feel like out of them all the like shitty horror movies that I've been speaking about, that's quite a high rating, and a 1.9 on IMDb on Letterboxd, which is quite good. It did quite well, you know. It actually made a profit, which is fair play, and the budget was tiny on this movie. It's like 3.5 million, which is really, really impressive. And it's also directed by Jeff Wadlow, who I don't even know who that is, but I just feel like I should mention some of the facts, you know, about this movie. So this movie is basically a lot of tropes, every single trope you can think of in a horror movie. You know, like, we have like the old lady that's being a little bit creepy, we have the stupid faces, not a lot of jump scares, which I was quite impressed with. The movie tries way too hard, the pace is off, it really, really, really holds back. Like, I can imagine, like, imagine you went to the cinema and you got to see a movie called Truth or Dare, and it was absolutely wild, like over the top, like insane. That would be absolutely great. But imagine now you went to the cinema and a 10 out of those 100 minutes, right, is all you get to see out of this Truth or Dare game. The rest of the 90 minutes are just kind of like story building. That's just stupid because you obviously don't care. You don't go to movies like this entirely for the story. And then in those 10 minutes, a lot of the characters continuously pick truths, and whenever they pick dares, they're very mundane, they hold back. A lot of them are just very cheap, they make no sense, and they're just kind of stupid. And how would you feel after that experience? Probably how I feel, except I watch it alone on my couch. But that's how I feel about Truth or Dare. I wish it was a bit more. You could probably tell I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm still glad I watched it. It was stupid. It was stupid fun. And, you know, I'm enjoying watching these stupid horror movies, and I'm going to continue watching these stupid horror movies. And I'm glad I watched it. And yeah, that was Truth or Dare. Have you watched Truth or Dare? What did you think about Truth or Dare? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? And yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about Truth or Dare. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.